guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Nogwazi Ntombela, also known as Kwazi Bear on all social media platforms. Do subscribe, be a part of this family, and if you're a returning subby, welcome back, darling. Now guys, we're back in court. It is Monday the 29th of July and we are continuing with the cross-examination of Pinky Vithalingham from Vodacom. Before we get into this video, please like and also comment and also share this video so that we reach a greater audience. And also there is a super thanks button down below just next to the share button, where you can basically support this channel financially. It starts from any amount from 39 rand right through to 10,000, so go wild.
And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party. Things felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull an 10. Like Daddy.
Now, with the continuation of the cross-examination by accused number 5's defense counsel Umshololo, we then learned today that accused number 5's number, which was said to be used by accused number 5, was actually taken from another case ID. So now when Pinky explains about this data, she says that the data was already available on the system because it was requested back in 2020. Now, if you do remember, accused number 5 was arrested for another case. This was information that was made available by Uma Kobo at the time he came to testify in the trial, within a trial. And the interesting thing about now this information is that the same IO, the same investigating officer that was said to have requested the 205 for in 2020 was Brigadier Geninda. Now, isn't it interesting how Brigadier Geninda is the investigating officers for one of Ntuli, accused number 5's previous cases, and now is involved in this Senzo Meyiwa case where cell phone evidence is alleged to link the 5 accused. Now, the one thing that I found pretty interesting about the information on the RICA, on the cell phone number, is that Pinky says that the cell phone was RICA'd to Afiso Ntuli way back in 2012, on the 21st of January 2012. And the judge's question is that there's no telling that the same number belonged to accused number 5 during 2014. Now, Pinky then says that this number was then RICA'd to another person on the 22nd of February in 2019, which is crazy business to me, because Pinky, the same person, tells us that when the Section 205 was requested, it was requested for the period 1 January 2018 right through to the 25th of May 2021, which is indicative that accused number 5 was still using this number during this period. So how is it that it's showing a different RICA information for another person in 2019? That is a question that might still be answered. I don't know. Mshololo then touches on the evidence of Colonel Steyn, Colonel Gos, who does say that he received a Section 205 on this number 9202, and Pinky says there's no way that I could have sent the Section 205 of this number because it was already existing. So it just comes to show that both the cell phone analysts, Steyn and Gos, have misled the court in some way during their testimony. Another very important point that Pinky touched on today is the fact that, in fact, the closest tower to the Basotho hostel is actually Phosphorus Tower. Now, this was going to be interesting information because, as I said last week in my previous video, that Steyn had already given evidence. According to Ramusipile's cross-examination, Steyn had given evidence already in this trial that says that the closest tower to the Basotho hostel was the Muleleki Tower. Now, this is interesting because there is a cell phone that was alleged to have been stolen at the scene of crime, which belonged to Kelly Kumalo, and this phone reflected the Muleleki Tower after the incident. Now, what Pinky has brought up or brought to our attention at this time is that the closest tower to the Basotho hostel is actually Phosphorus Tower, and the Muleleki Tower is about 5 kilometers away from the Basotho hostel. So how is it that According to Zungu, the accused, after leaving the scene, allegedly went to the Basotho hostel. That is where he says he saw them running into the hostel, yet there are no transactions or no activities on Kelly's phone which reflect the closest tower to the Basotho hostel, which would have been Phosphorus. Mshololo then completed her cross-examination today, leaving those points basically unanswered to, and the re-examination by Sibanda commenced. When he re-examined Pinky Vithalingham, he just basically went back on the issue of the towers and went into the issue of the Tower of Lesedi, which accused number 3 had said that he was in Lesedi during a certain period. Now, Pinky says there is a tower that is in Lesedi, however, accused number 3's phone does not ping, or there's no activity at the Lesedi Tower during the day of the 26th. However, Sibanda then asked what the closest tower is if the Lesedi Tower is congested, and she says that the nearest tower after Lesedi is actually Phosphorus West. And indeed, on the day of the 26th of October 2014, accused number 3's phone does have a certain activity pinging at the Phosphorus West Tower. Another issue that Sibanda touched on during his re-examination was the issue of the RICA information. Now, he says that the RICA information for accused number 3's phone is not reflecting accused number 3 as the person that the cell phone was RICA to, and also touches on the fact that the defense had said that a certain number that they denied was accused number 5's number was Lungisani Ndwandwe's number. Now, the surprising thing about this number is that this number is actually recorded under the name of Thandazile Ndwandwe. Now, for me, this could make so much sense because it seems as though the state only wants things to work in their favor, but when it works in the defense's favor, then they want to question it. The reason I say this is because when Pinky began her testimony, the state did point out that a number that Pinky said was registered under Sillo Twala was actually Longwe Twala's number. And had the state not said that to Pinky, Pinky would never have known. She would have just told us that the number was registered under Sillo Twala. So the exact same should apply for this Ndwandwe character, where the state has laid evidence that the number was recorded under a Thandazile Ndwandwe. However, the defense had said that the number was actually used by a Lungisani Ndwandwe, which could be a relative that either registered the phone for Lungisani, or they had bought a phone, registered it under their name and gave it to Lungisani. The same should apply on both sides. But in either case, I don't think that's the point, because the point is that that number does not belong to accused number 5. So it shouldn't really matter even who it was RICA to at the time, whether it was Lungisani or Thandazile, or if it was Lungisani who was using the number. The bottom line is that accused number 5 denies that this was his number, and yet the state has laid evidence that says he was attributed to this number during this time. Sibanda then completes his re-examination, and Baloyi then indicates to the court that they are planning on bringing an application to actually bring Colonel Steyn back to the stand. He is, however, not well at the moment, so he's unable to come back this week. So they did request that the case be postponed until next week, Monday, I think the 5th of August, where they'll try and get Steyn to come back on the stand. Now, for me, I really don't know what Steyn will come and say before the court, because his evidence was tested via cross-examination, and he has given evidence that was material to the communication of the accused, and also linking accused number 5 to Kelly Khumalo, who was said to be the mastermind mastermind, which Pinky has completely denied during her examination in chief. So I really don't know what Steyn could come and tell the court at the moment. It could be that he made a mistake with his evidence, but that will then put his credibility to the questioning. Those were basically the proceedings for today, or for the week, I should say, and we will see each other on Monday when hopefully a new witness comes in. If not, then we will see what the application for Steyn does bring for us. Another thing that the state has indicated is that they are looking at about 5 more witnesses before they close their case, the one being Steyn coming back. If it is granted, if the application is granted, the second will then be Mangena, the ballistic expert, and the third will then be the expert for the defense, I think, that will testify with regards to the testing of the bullets and the gun. And then the next witness will be someone from correctional service. I don't know what evidence they will be bringing forward, because we did have a Mr. Yaga who testified about the correctional service before. And then the fifth witness will then be Keninda, which will probably be the end of the state's case. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the week. I hope you guys enjoy the weekend. I will see you guys next week. Bye.